this week, something happened, right? We talked about Glamour Girls, the review, the big wins. We brought all of that to your screens. Now, despite the mixed reviews that have greeted the Play Network Studios remake of the classic Nollywood 1994 film, the film continues to climb the charts, and we can't stop talking about it. Now, Glamour Girls did one thing that no Nollywood film has ever done, occupying the 5th spot on the Netflix movies global chart. This is a big deal. I'm talking about, like, in the world, it's not just, you know, there's Netflix Nigeria, you know, there's number one. Oh, Netflix Nigeria number one. This is not that list. I'm talking about when you look at all the movies Netflix has released within the last few days. Glamour Girls was the 5th. Now, this makes it the first Nollywood film, which is also a Netflix original, to achieve this. I mean, we cannot emphasize this enough. It has retained its position as #1 in Nigeria. It's also been #1 in other countries around the world. I mean, it's from one win to another for this film. Well, Glamour Girls, directed by Bunmi Ajikaye and produced by Abimbola, created explores the fast life of a group of promiscuous women. They're living a life of glitz and glamour and are willing to do whatever it takes to maintain this lifestyle. You know, they have become used to it. They don't want to go back to the trenches. It's a necessity. Now, of course, you saw the stars in the movie: Nsekwe Etim, Sharon Ooja, Toke Makinwa, Jocelyn Dumas, Lynx. It was star-studded. Now, there is a big elephant in the room. There is a huge one. The fact that while some people loved the film, some of you watching me right now didn't find it funny. You know, that anger you have expressed so well on social media. So how about getting into the film properly? Joining me right now on a Rise 360, the producer, Abimbola Craig. I got that right. And Nollywood sweetheart, Sharon Ooja. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you both on a Rise 360. So I've got to ask, any cringe when you see the movie, you know, especially for you, Sharon? Do you ever just feel like, oh my gosh, did I do that?
I wouldn't say cringe, I just smile, because I think we did the job.
I think
did the thing, yes.
Okay, amazing. So for you, what was your favorite part of filming this movie?
Just digging in deep into a character that I feel like I've never been able to reach, even as an actor. Because for us actors, with each film, let me speak for myself, you grow, you get deeper. So this was one that I had to do a lot of work for, and I'm glad that it showed.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Abimbola Craig, let's bring you into the mix. I feel like, in a way, while we enjoyed the film, the behind the scenes is such a major part of the conversation, because if that part wasn't gotten right, we would not have enjoyed what we saw on screen. Now, this is a film that was, am I correct to say, almost 85% female-led? In terms of production, casting, the BTS, you know, tell me about that decision. Tell me about how you picked the people who eventually showed up in front of the camera.
This film.
This film.
So first things first, I think a lot of people have a huge misconception about what the film is. The film is not a remake. The film is not a sequel. The executive producer, which is Charles Opaleke, owns the rights to the film. And so based off of that, you can decide what you want to do. If everybody Googles what a remake is and what a sequel is, then it gives you different explanation. This is literally an original. Meaning that even though it's the same name, you can choose how you want to spin the storyline. Either you pick a little bit from the sequel, from the previous one, which then makes it sort of like a remake, or that you just totally go off course. So this is an original. It's not a remake. It's not a sequel. So this is just Glamour Girls 2022.
Has nothing to do.
I
think that was important that you clarified, because for me, it's always been, oh, Glamour Girls 2022, you know, a remake of the 1994. So basically, there's no such thing as a remake. In fact, people need to just get the remake out of their minds. Just watch the movie as a stand-alone.
Exactly. That literally might help you.
Let's get back to that conversation about the casting.
So that was... when Charles and I had a conversation, first of all, this was like, what, late November 2020. 2020, we shot this in 2021. In 2020, he's like, yo, Bimbo, let's do this, man. And I've known Charles when I first moved back to Nigeria Law School. And so it was an amazing opportunity. And I was like, you know what, Charles, how about an all-female team? And he's like, Bimbo, you know what? I'm all about female empowerment, man. do your thing. Literally speaking. And so I reached out to Kemi Adesoye. Shout out to Kemi Adesoye. A lot of people don't know how much of a veteran she is.
Oh, I do. I've been
But
saying
if
this
you
ever
know,
since.
you
Like,
know.
respect the name.
So Kemi came on board, wrote the script. I reached out to Bumia Jakaye. We'd done work together previously, Skinny Girl in Transit, and a few other personal projects. And so I reached out to her, and she was on board as well. Got my crew together in terms of, crew, literally, from the DOP, who was male, and his team as well. But either or, it was important to just make sure I had a really robust female cast as well. Reached out to Sharon. Sharon and I have worked together previously. Ooja is my person. So I reached out to her, had a conversation. Listen, there's this character that we have. And her concern, first of all, which I would say it, was, Abimbola, I'll look to her, and I'm like, listen, this is not the same thing. This is literally somebody going from rags to riches. So it's reversing it. And let's see how you can put a spin on it. Because I know as well that Sharon and Bumi had a relationship previously from Skinny Girl. I knew they understood each other's dialogue, and just there was a connection there, which is always very important. So that was done. Reached out to Inse. I'd never worked with Inse before. But listen, growing up watching Inse is Inse, right? And so I reached out to her team, and I'm like, listen, I want this lady on board. And I remember her manager asking me why. I had never reached out as a producer, and I've been doing this for 8 years. I've never reached out to anybody that their team asked me why. And so I'm on the phone with her manager, and I'm literally for 5 minutes explaining why. By the time I was on, it was like, say no more. Jocelyn, I love a fusion. I think as Nigerians and as filmmakers, I think it's important that we shed light on Nigeria, but also on Africa as a whole. And I always love to infuse and work with really amazing actors from different parts of the world, but especially from Africa. And so reached out to Jocelyn. Jocelyn was on board. I'd seen Segilola Ogido, and I think a lot of people seem to constantly forget that she's also part of the Glamour Girls. Reached out to Segi. Segi was in TMC. That was the first time I'd seen her.
Love her.
She's an amazing actor. Range for days.
100%.
And so I reached out to her, and she was on board as well with it. And from there, it was just Toke. Listen, people keep sitting down, and Toke was literally meant to be Toke, just with children. And I'm like, yeah, TM, are you free? Can you do this? She's like, Bimbo, send me the script. It was a bit challenging because, this is her first time in acting, and it had a lot of dialogue. It also had a lot of emotions. And she's like, you know what, I'm willing to take that risk. And every once in a while, with filmmaking and with everything that you do, right, it's all about risk taking. You just never know, and you just hope it pays off. And thankfully, #1 on the charts globally.
Yes.
It can only be good.
And honestly, I think that's a huge deal. Like, I keep emphasizing this because I always had an issue with the whole Netflix Naija craze. So when a film is #1, you have some people say, oh, my movie's #1 on Netflix. I'm like, please, you gotta be specific. It's #1 on Netflix. Naija. Not #1 Netflix. So I feel like this happening with Glamour Girls is going to properly set that distinction. That there's a difference between being #1 on Netflix Naija, that's in Nigeria, you're #1, and being Netflix Global Top 4. In fact, as of today, it's #4. I just checked. It's #4 right now. Let's talk about, Sharon, you're very excited.
Of course I'm excited.
Let's talk about expectations. I feel like, on one hand, while sometimes expectations might be unrealistic, in another way, it also tells me that whoever is some people expect something from is doing something great. So with your character, Sharon, there was so much expectation. Just the trailer alone, just the premiere, everybody see Emanuela Donlando. There was so much expectation for it. So as an actress, not just with Glamour Girls, when you have to be in that space, is that any kind of pressure?
So I think as I've grown in the industry, I've realized that you remove that pressure from yourself. Because what is acting? Acting is me putting myself in your shoes. And I'll put myself in your shoes the best way that I can. When you understand that you can only do within your own power, you don't stress yourself. You do what you can do. Or dig deep in to give the character, you flesh the character out, right? So once I'm able to do that as a person, I genuinely give myself peace. So pressure back in the day, but as I stand, I'll sit here today, 0. 100%. I'm one person who is really, I cringe when I watch myself naturally. But I remember on the premiere day, I watched myself and I went to bed smiling. Yes, it's a different thing. I don't know about other actors, but I personally run away from watching myself. But I watched Glamour Girls and I was like, I don't know who that is. That was definitely not Sharon. And I'm saying it for myself. anybody else can speak for themselves. But I watched a character, Emanuela, come to life. So there was zero pressure.
Okay, so now with regards to the film in itself, let's talk about it. Your favorite scene for you, Abimbola Craig. What would you say was, this scene, no, let me even call it favorite, difficult, stressful, like this scene tested me. Let me put it that way. The scene that you would say, and I'm coming to you, Sharon, as well. You have to tell me. The scene that tested you, like you knew, if I could, you know what? If I could get this scene done, you can't tell me nothing. I'm going to let you think about that because we have to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We're still on this conversation, speaking about Glamour Girls, everything you've been asking, things you've been pondering on. We'll be right back with some more. You're welcome back to Rise 360. I am still joined on the show by producer of Glamour Girls, Abimbola Craig, and actress on Glamour Girls, Sharon Ooja. So back to that question that I asked. Cringe-worthy sins that you just knew, this scene, if I can get through this, that's it.
Okay, so two things, but I'm going to piggyback off of something that you said.
Yeah.
I just want to set the record straight. I think even though, as the industry that is Nollywood, we're constantly trying every day. We're constantly trying to be better. We're constantly trying to outbest our last selves, not each other. And so I want to say that even though making number one on Netflix is a huge deal.
It is a huge deal.
And so I just want everybody to know that, you know, for every filmmaker that has ever done that, that's an achievement. Getting it global is equally just an achievement as well. So I just didn't want to downplay.
100%.
I just didn't want to downplay that.
I feel like sometimes, as much as it is a big deal, we try that. What you're saying, basically, we do try to downplay the successes of movies that are even bigger than the Netflix Niger #1. So it's important that people, I mean, I'm celebrating everyone's wins, but let's understand, as much as we want to be humble, there are levels to it. I'm sorry.
And we're number 4.
Okay, Sharon.
Okay,
so let's get back to it.
Let's get back to
the scene that tested you. It doesn't have to be cringe. You just know this was something that made you like.
So first of all, we shot in 3 different cities.
Yeah.
We shot in Lagos, we shot in Abuja, and we shot in Beirut.
Okay.
And shooting in all 3 cities comes with its own enemy and devil.
Okay.
And that's me saying that, like, just putting it lightly.
Yeah.
So if I'm being honest with you, it was testing. But the scene that literally, and it didn't do anything to me per se, but where I saw my actors literally die, come alive, and die and come alive again, was the scene of the hacker. We shot that scene almost 34 hours straight.
No way.
No joke.
Yeah. And I went to the hospital straight from the...
No joke. And when I mean
sick.
everybody was on set.
I was crying.
Every time director was about to shout action, ready to pull from within. Toke was done. Sharon was done. Instead was done. Justin was done. Temisan was done. James was done. The hackers were done. Everybody was literally... But there's nothing as amazing to have actors who are ready to push beyond.
100%.
Every time we thought we were tired as the crew, because at the end of the day, my crew is tired, so we're constantly making sure there's drink, there's sugar, everybody needs to stay awake. But every time everybody was about to give in, and then Toke's like, oh yeah, well, let's go. And then Sharon's like, director, I'm ready. And everybody literally, you have your entire cast ready to push in. It gingers the crew, and it just gives you that zeal again to be like, you know what? 2 more hours, we can't go, guys. So for me, there was nothing cringing because I don't run away from work. But one particular thing that I remember that gave me joy and made me remember why we do this is not to suffer, but it's to be able to know that you're working with people that equally want the same end goal.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and it was that scene.
All right, Sharon, what about you?
So I agree with Bimbo. There were 2 scenes for me. That one, because at the time, like she said, we had shot for endless hours. And as an actor, you're not thinking about, oh, I've been here for 30-something hours. You're thinking about, I need to perform. Because nobody's going to watch that and say, oh, they were there for 34 hours. You're going to see it and say, she cannot act. So you're going to put yourself in that mood and say, I will push through to the max and give it. So that scene was one. But the other scene for me was the dance scene.
Ooh,
At the beginning?
Yes. Well,
Really?
am I allowed to say it? Please?
Are you allowed, please?
Please.
Please.
So I had learned, my director, Bumi Ajakaye, made me learn how to dance. So I had done a dance routine for over a month. That obviously it's filmed, so it was cut out. But we shot that scene for over 7 hours. Do you remember? We shot that, yes, the dance routine. There was a dance sequence. But you only watched an intro.
I'm sad
no,
now.
No, I'm not upset.
I would have loved to see
No, it was irrelevant.
The world might get to see it pretty.
But I had a dance routine. So that for me was I naturally getting
in those heels.
Yes, in heels.
And in shorts.
In shorts.
Bra.
And in a bra. And in front of men that I do not know from Adam. And in front of a crew that is so big, because our crew was so big. So you can only imagine my mindset. And it was in that moment I realized that I respected dancers because being sexy is a mindset that you have to exude when you're dancing. It won't show. So that was a very tasking scene for me. And I had to do it several times.
Over and over again.
Several times.
And it was just you.
It was just me.
Strippers just watching.
The strippers
her
watching,
and,
and I was there on that pole. So for me, it was a very tasking scene. Guess what? It's filmed, so I don't feel any type of way that I was cut out, but I know what it did for me as an actor. It made me realize the level I would go to get into character. So you go, Emma, you're the stripper.
Manuela.
Yeah. You said something that caught my attention, and I'm going to stress you out a bit.
What?
See, I'm going to give you 5 lists, yeah? And I'm going to beg you. And I'm going to tell you to also beg other people too. 1, that dance. 2, wait. 2, I don't want to spoil the movie, but I did tell my viewers, if you hadn't seen Glamour Girls I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Who gave you that flash you had? That's the thing. Wait, I'm not done. Hold on. The flash.
No, that one I can answer that one real quick.
Wait. There's 1, the dance. 2, the flash, yeah? 3, to be honest, I feel like when people say, what did Toke's husband see? I'm like, you can figure that out. You can.
No.
If you can't,
Not in Glamour Girls.
Okay, so 3.
There are plenty roads.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. There are many
different things that you could have seen.
4, when Emma came back, because she was like, I'm done. Everybody was like, go Emma, yes, walk away. And then Emma came right back. What happens next?
Can I answer that?
Okay.
Exactly. So let's start with that. No, let's start with the second. Sharon, let's go. When Emma comes back, what happens? Comes back, does Donna forgive her? Is Donna like...
That's for you to answer, because Emma is a very desperate girl. You can see that Emma would go to any length to get what she wants. Now, this life that she's now finally being introduced to, you think that she'll just waka leave it. No, now. What loyalty does she have to the other girls? Who brought her into this life?
But then again, she has the man, the younger...
Did you think did she really have the man with the way she behaved?
Did she follow him when he said come?
When he said come, did she follow him?
But is it not... Okay, so wait. Why didn't she? Because that was a choice. She could have,
She knew what she had done.
So I think, and this is not me trying to interpret, and I think that's the beauty of what film is, right?
Yeah.
I've had conversations with multiple people about how the show spoke to them, how the film spoke to them, right? So everybody has different endings to things. I'll just give you mine, right? A character like Emanuela has come from where she's gotten to that point where even before Donna told her, always pick and stick to number 1.
Yeah.
This girl had friends and she left them to go and pitch herself.
Yep.
You understand what I mean? At the end of the day, she's literally only thinking about herself. She's tasted this life of
and she would never leave it.
To go back to where? Trenches, Wayne, Jersey.
Nicki Minaj, Emma King, Thee Stallion.
No, she's advanced beyond that, right?
Yo, did she change her IG handle though? I hope she did.
By the grace of God.
She probably did. She was in Jets now, so she
had to. That IG handle was a killer. Okay, now, what did Toke's husband see?
So it's the same thing, like I said.
Yeah.
Like, everybody interprets things differently.
Oh, I've heard so many interpretations
I think
of that.
also in and not to generalize, but I
Yeah.
think sometimes we need to let our minds run creatively. I think when we watch films that we're constantly comparing ourselves to Hollywood,
Yes.
which is great, but I think we don't give ourselves enough grace, even as audiences as well.
Yes.
Right? There are certain films you watch Hollywood based that you literally conclude by yourself.
Yes. Do
But
the
you
same
don't
for
see
your
sending,
country.
do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Let it be whatever you want. Like I just explained, this is not a remake, this is not a sequel. Based off of that, I've heard people say, oh my God, maybe he saw an animal inside there.
Yeah.
If it's an animal, it's an
I've
animal.
heard so, like,
I've
maybe
heard
he
someone
saw-
say maybe he saw multiple men inside there.
Yeah.
If it's multiple men, either or, the point was this. Whatever the man saw, he could not handle. Point blank. Period. Whatever he saw was jarring enough for him to say, let
I'm
me
not
carry
doing
my
anymore.
children away and
They
run.
go. I don't have to give it to Lynx though. I feel like he
Not very
showed up.
tricky.
He showed out. in this movie, but I felt so bad. I wanted to see how Jocelyn bit him. I wanted to see her like
Again?
But wait, let me ask you a question before you again me. See, you said it's an original. So final question, producer.
Yes.
Is there a possibility that this story can be continued? Or is this a full stop?
So this is what I would say, and I mean I don't have the power per se. So this is me looking at Charles as well, you know. I'm saying to the fans out there, to the people that want more, the people that want to get an understanding.
Yeah.
Do you want more? If you do, let us know. Comment, go on play, spam them, spam Charles, spam all of us. Do you want more? Because the thing and the beauty of storytelling is you can get to a point where you stop it abruptly, but then there's also room for more.
100%.
And so that's what I'm going to say.
I think we couldn't end this conversation on a better note. You know, if you want more, you know what to do.
Period.
Sharon, well done.
Thank you so much.
Abimbola, Craig, epic job. Thank you guys so much for stopping by Rise
Thank you for
360. I
having
feel
me.
like
Thank you so
everyone
much.
watching right now can have peace because some people have been constipating over this movie. It's been deep. But thank you guys so much for stopping by. This is so
Thank
much
you.
fun.